Hey guys, and welcome to my PlayStation 3 news for October 22nd. Getting right into it. For all you guys who got Saints Row 2 or getting Saints Row 2, you may notice there is no trophies for it. And if you love trophies, you might be upset to know this news that they have announced there is no patch or anything down the line to allow it to have trophies. So that's about it for Saints Row 2. There is no trophies coming. And going on to BioShock, for the people who even played the demo, or if you got in the game by now or anything, you may have noticed there's some things different from the 360 version. And by different, I mean worse. And most noticeable was the real low-res blocky pixels on the Big Daddies. Well, 2K has come out and they've said there will be a patch coming out sometime for BioShock to fix the blocky pixels on the Big Daddy and also to fix the white bars in the open cinematic. And there will be other issues that we'll be addressing, but they have not gone through a full list yet. And for the people with SOCOM, or if you're planning on getting SOCOMs, if you've already gotten it, you might have noticed it's completely void of any trophies. Now, Sony has come out and stated they are working on a patch that will allow SOCOM to have trophies, and that should be showing up sometime in the future. Also, they've stated that they're working on probably one or two more patches after that to fix some stability issues. Alright, so I've seen some complaints of it, but it looks like they're on it to fix it, so which is looking good. Also, some good news for Resistance 2. This game is looking unbelievable. They went into some more details about Resistance 2. One is that the single player campaign will take 10 to 12 hours to complete on normal difficulty. Now, as you all know, it has co-op play with a completely separate campaign, completely separate storyline. And they said that this co-op campaign will offer over 100 hours of gameplay. I mean, that's crazy, man. 100 hours. On top of that, you got the multiplayer, which is looking, like endless amounts of fun. So this game is just looking like it's going to be able to hold you off for years to come. It's just looking crazy. And also for home, some news for home is that Resident Evil 5, Street Fighter 4, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, and Far Cry 2 will be getting their own spaces in home. It's just a lot more growing amount of third-party companies accepting home and wanting to embrace home, which is good. So looking forward for that public beta coming hopefully next month. And also for the people in Australia, if you have not gotten a PS3 yet, now is the time to get one. Not only got all these amazing games out there, but they have stated that in Australia, every PS3 that is purchased gets a free Little Big Planet game. Perfect deal. Great time to get your PS3. Go out and get one now. And some more Little Big Planet news. If you have not heard yet, but a lot of people have heard because it's big news, is that Little Big Planet has been delayed due to some issues that have been brought to Sony, which is it was in a song that Sony licensed that plays in the background, Little Big Planet, that has two expressions from the Quran, which is of a Muslim religion. And they've had to actually take all the copies that were ready to ship, they had to recall them and make brand new copies. So that's why it's been delayed, and we in the US are going to have to wait like an extra week. So instead of it coming out this week, it will come out October 27th here in the US. And for the people in UK, you're going to have to wait a bit longer than that because Little Big Planet will not be coming out in UK till November 5th. So, I mean, kind of sucks for that, but, at least it's not going to be like 2 months worth of delay. Luckily for that. Also, Call of Duty World at War, I know a lot of people are excited about it. I'm starting to get a bit excited about it. They will offer 45 trophies, which is looking pretty good. Unlike Call of Duty 4, they did not opt to do a trophy patch, but Call of Duty World at War will have trophies. And for the people playing Battlefield Bad Company, they stated a while back that they will be getting a trophy patch for it. Well, they stated they're very close to the release for the trophy patch, so look out for that. And also, for the people in the UK, if you're looking into getting Far Cry 2, real interested in it, I advise you to pre-order it now. Because they have stated in the UK, if you pre-order Far Cry 2, you get 3 or 4 extra missions. Now, that's a pretty good deal. I wish they do that here in the US because I definitely pre-ordered it to get some extra missions. But, you guys go ahead, go pre-order that and have some fun when that comes out. Now, last bit of news I got to get with here is something that really is pissing me off. If you guys remember from the last firmware update we had 2.50, you might notice you had to agree to a new privacy policy and user agreement. I'm sure a lot of you didn't really go into depth about it because, like me, you find it kind of boring. So you just like digitally signed your signature and agreed to it to stay on with the PSN. Well, I went into a little more depth about it because I was curious about why they would have what they updated in it, and a lot of the stuff is really upsetting to me and just plain out bullshit. Because here's the thing, one of the rights they have in there is Sony. That since you signed a contract, Sony now has the right to share all your personal information with third parties for any reason. I don't know why they would need to, but that's what they have the right to do now. Also, they have the right to track and monitor everyone, from everything you look at to everything you download to everything you play. Whenever you're signed into the PSN, you are being tracked and monitored, and they're allowed to give your IP address and your PSN ID to the appropriate authorities if you do anything, illegal, or if you do anything wrong. And probably the biggest and most I'm upset about is that if you guys remember from firmware 2.40, I believe it was, a lot of people had corrupted hard drive because of bad firmware, and so it bricked their systems, and so they had to send it in and get it fixed from Sony. And now they're saying Sony has stated in a new user agreement that they are no longer responsible for any bricked systems from any firmware updates or automatic downloads. I'm like, what? I mean, come on, that's complete BS, because it's like Sony creates a firmware. They create all this data. We are mandatory. It's mandatory for us to download these new firmware updates in order to sign into the PSN. And we can't modify them in any way. But if something they create bricks our system because it corrupts our hard drive, they're not responsible for it and they won't fix it for free. That's complete BS. And on top of that, that also goes for automatic downloads. So if any company makes a patch for a game, but all of a sudden that bricks your system, no one's responsible for it. I mean, that is complete BS. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write an angry letter about that, hoping, we can get to change Sony's mind. And any of you who are with me on this, can send some angry letters, tell them how upset and pissed off you are about them not being responsible for something they would cause and we have no control over. Maybe we can get it changed. I'm hoping we can, but tell your friends, just send as many letters as we can. And I'm just getting too pissed off just talking about this, so I'm going to quit right now. Anyway, that's what's been going on so far. So, rate, comment, let me know, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of anything I talked about today. Tell your friends, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys within about a week or so. So, take it easy. Peace.